Okay, so hi, I'm Cassie, and every year parents have to decide where to send their kids to school, whether it's private or public. And if they choose public, they have the choice between regular public education and charter schools. Now, if you don't know what a charter school is, it's publicly funded by the government, but they're privately ran by a charter. And charter schools are usually seen as really innovative and helping kids, usually in lower income areas. But a study done by the Mathematica Policy Research found that, on average, charter schools that held lotteries were neither more nor less successful than regular schools in improving student achievement, behavior, or school progress. Among these charters considered in the study, more had significant negative effects on student achievement than significantly positive effects. Therefore, leading me to my claim that charter schools is actually a harmful choice for public education. Okay, firstly, charter schools are for-profit education. Charter schools subcontract their funds to private companies to create individual profit. So when charter schools are given tax money, they can actually subcontract it to management companies. Therefore, the money that is given to them doesn't reach the schools until after it goes through this. For example, the Chicago International Charter Schools subcontracted their operations of their school to Charter Schools USA, which is a for-contract educational management company. So somebody was making money off of tax dollars instead of it just directly going to the school. Their money is not decided by the government, so the government doesn't really have any say in where this money is being spent. And it leaves a lot of room for the misuse of the money. Like, in an article in the LA Times, they reported that 2 operators of the Ivy Academy Charter School were accused and proven guilty for taking and misusing more than $200,000 in public funds. They used the school money to buy thousands of dollars meals what they called business expenses. They also raised the rent of their own school as an illegal money-making scheme. Charter school teachers are actually less experienced too. Only 75% of their teachers are required to be certified. So when they go to college, they don't actually have to receive their teaching certificate in order to teach at these schools. The study by the Department of Education showed that the charter schools are less likely to employ teachers meeting state certification standards. So it can be someone pretty much off the street and they don't have to be certified. And there's also a really high teacher turnover rate. And they'll work for 1 or 2 years and then they'll quit or move on to do something else, which really affects the students because they're not able to have that same bond, and these teachers don't gain as much experience as they could. And the high turnover rate leaves students feeling misunderstood and undervalued. Charter schools also underperform compared to traditional public schools. They have lower test scores on the math and reading tests. A study done by the research for the Center for Research on Education Outcomes at Stanford University reported that 37% of the charter schools did worse than regular public schools. They also reported that one of the charter schools only had 11% of their students achieve proficiency in the reading level and 23% in math, which means that 89% scored basic or below in reading and 77% scored basic or below in math. They also have a lack of advanced placement classes. Most charter schools don't even offer these, and if they do, because the teachers have such a high turnover rate and a lack of certification, most of them are not really qualified to teach those courses, and it affects a lot of the student grades. So charter schools are a harmless choice for public education because they take education out of the hands of the people.
All right, the intro sets up the controversy, I think, pretty well. You've got a clear statement of your proposition. There's no preview of what the supporting structure is going to be. And in the body of the speech, I didn't think it was very well signposted at all. So it makes it a little bit harder to follow than it ought to be. I do think that there are some distinct claims that wouldn't be hard to find some organizational structure for, but you need to emphasize that a little bit more. There are lots of places where you've provided some data, and I think that's pretty good. You've got examples of abuse, financial abuse, for instance, and you've got some illustrations there about how schools aren't necessarily performing very effectively. On the third point, you had a nice piece of statistical information on that, so I thought that that was pretty effective. On the other hand, there are lots of places where you're making inferences and conclusions that are not necessarily documented or justified. For instance, the notice that somebody has to be certified in order to teach a class. There's no demonstration that certification makes a difference in anybody's ability to teach a class. And I thought one of the reasons that they had non-traditional instructors was because the charter schools, specialized in particular kinds of things. So there might be a reason why you were getting a different class of people there. And when you said, so essentially it could just be somebody off the street, it seems extremely unlikely that anybody would choose a charter school that's filled with teachers who are just off the street. But they might choose a charter school that's filled with scientists who are taking a semester or a year off to teach in a school so that they can promote the STEM kinds of things that are being advocated. And, I don't know that that's all what's going on, but I don't have evidence from one side or the other on that, and you're just kind of presupposing that that's the case, and I think you need to provide some proof on that. All right, thank you.